Joe Biden may be announcing come this December, I think the 14th, 15th, around the time that the Federal Reserve is going to announce whether they're going up in interest rates, it could be a very shocking announcement from Joe Biden that will affect everybody in the United States and in the world, with him possibly switching now, well, I've been talking about this for a while, to the CBDC, or the central bank digital currency. Boom. That's what's going on. So, how you guys doing? This is EB from Compton, Dumb Diddy Dumb, the city where I'm from. You know what it is. And so I'm probably the first brother from Compton really bringing you guys hardcore economic information. And what I've done all my life has been studying economics. All of my life, I've been a part of some type of financial industry, whether it was count money or whether I was a real estate appraiser doing, valuation. I've always been somewhat focused and interested in how money works. So let's go there. Joe Biden may be changing the game forever, and it's not Joe Biden. It could have been Donald Trump. It could have been Clinton. It could have been Obama. It don't matter who's in office. When you guys understand the game and the name of the game and how the game is played, it's not about the president. The president doesn't run nothing. No president runs nothing. I was recently looking at some statistics on how Nancy Pelosi and congressmen only make $174,000 a year. But these congressmen, I'm gonna do a video on this. These congressmen are literally worth $200 and $300 million. How? Because they receive all kind of contributions from these different corporations and lobbyists that persuade them to pass certain laws. So the president don't run nothing. We had a president back in the early 1700s, 1800s or whatever, when we had just a small colony, really wasn't a lot of people in this country. We did not have the magnitude of we have today, of the different agencies, all the different government programs, all the different state programs, and the military installation that we have. All these things in this country, unemployment, we have Social Security, we have all of these different factors that now are too large for one person. So in my mindset, the president at one time was supposed to regulate the small little country we had, with just the small little chapters that we had, whereas now the chapters and the different aspects of this country has grown so big to where now it's basically too much for one person. It's too much. We've outgrown the presidency. We need to rethink that whole thing of how it's done. But Joe Biden is about to drop the whammy on a lot of people. I've been talking about this. I've done videos. If you go down my video thing, I'm the first guy from Compton, California. Trust me when I tell you, online, not just only talking about Bitcoin, but talking about digital currencies and talking about the change of currencies. And actually, I did a video called the CBDC, the digital currency that's about to start, that's going to pretty much change the game as far as our freedoms when it comes to spending money. Now, I want you guys to like and subscribe to my channel. I need to start going live every day, because now this thing is getting very serious, where people need to really, really, really understand what's going on. There used to be a time when we didn't have to worry about money. Everything was pretty secure. Everything was stable. We had a system that worked around the world. Now, not the case. The United States dollar is losing so much of its spending, purchasing power every day, every month, every year. And there's so many other factors now moving against the U.S. dollar, like BRICS, and as well as just the fact that we're just printing too much money. The other day I was watching Sanford and Son with my partner here, and he's younger than me. He's about 20 years under me. And he's cracking up listening to Sanford and Son. Now we're talking about a program that came out in the 70s. And Safford and Son in the 70s, it's still funny. So we're talking about a 50 year program that's still funny. But when he listens to the money, he's like, damn. Safford was going to sell his house, and everybody in the neighborhood was selling their houses in Watts in the 70s to this Japanese company. And the Japanese company was offering people more than what their house was worth. Guess how much they were offering people? $15,000. And so Safford, he held out until they offered him $27,000 for a house, for his yard, for his land, everything. And this is an indication of how much the U.S. dollar purchasing power has diminished. It's not what you think. All of us have been thinking the price of things are going up. No. The price of the dollar is going down because they continue to print more and more and more and more and more without anything backing it, which devalues the dollar, and it basically floods the market with more base cash in circulation. And the more base cash hits circulation, the more of that cash you need to purchase anything. That's what inflation is. We all think inflation is the government. No, it is, and it's not really, because inflation is created by the private banks, the central bank, which you guys call the Federal Reserve, which is really not a part of the United States at all. What they have done, which was kind of ingenious, is allow banks like J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, all these different banks, who were a part of the wicked cabal when they started the Federal Reserve anyway. They allowed them to hold shares in the Federal Reserve. Now, when have you seen a public, state-owned, or federal-owned agency where you can purchase shares in it? So that's the proof and indication it's not a part of the government. Whenever you can purchase shares in something, that's private. Okay? That's something private or it's public. Like you got a public offer, IPO, anybody can buy shares. You can't buy shares in the government. You can't buy shares in a state agency. So that's your proof that the Federal Reserve is not a part of the United States. Now, getting back into this subject, I need you guys to hit this link I'm going to put underneath this video, because I'm really going to start pushing now the digital cryptocurrency courses. And the reason I'm pushing those, because it's not just you learning cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. No, it's you learning how to buy certain coins, hold certain coins that are amassing value like you wouldn't believe. It's about you learning about the metaverse. It's about you, which is coming fast. It's about you learning about NFTs, which will save the artists in the music industry. It will save the movie industry. NFTs. It will allow. It will basically re-standardize the whole value and ownership. Okay. It will change inventions. It will put more power in the people's hands. It will put more privacy in the people's hands. It would redistribute wealth from major corporations to the people. Okay? I like that. That's a better sounding thing to me, because the problem in this world right now, from my opinion and my vantage point, there's too much money in too little people's hands. There's such few people that have all the money. I'm going to make you an example. Okay, there's only about 2,800 billionaires in the world. That's it. Now, in 1985, 86, there was only 700. In the whole world, there was 700. In the whole world. Now, just to give you an indication of how small of a number that is, there's 8 billion people in the world right now. Okay? Approximately about 8 billion. If we took 10% of that, we'll be at 800 million. If we took 1% of that, we'll be at 80 million. There's not even 1 million billionaires. There's not even 100,000. There's not even 10,000. It's less than 3,000, which is 2/10,000 of 1%. And they own a good 50% of the world's money. Just 2/10,000 of 1%. Now, when you count all the millionaires, people with hundreds of millions, stuff like that, we're looking at about 75 to 80% of the world's money in maybe a couple 100 million people's hands. That's the problem in the world. So with this technology, it's going to disrupt that. Whew, I like the sound of that. It's going to disrupt that and give you and me a more equal, fair playing game chance to get a piece of the pie. Literally. And this is why I'm so excited about this technology. I've been on the front line blowing the horn since 2016-17. I am the first guy in Compton, California, on the internet talking about Bitcoin. Check my record. I'm doing a soldier boy on you guys right now. I was the first. I was the first one to do this from Compton, California. So you guys got to understand, Compton, the city where I'm from, Dum Diddy Dum, it's not just about gangsters. It's not just about rap. Compton, the city that I'm from, Dum Diddy Dum, is some of the smartest individuals on this planet. I call it that Compton magic. Because Eazy-E, Eric Wright, who actually went to high school with me, Compton High, him and Yeller, was a brilliant guy. He changed the game in the music industry in a lot of ways. He was the one that came up with that, hey, let them talk bad about us. Bad publicity is still publicity. We don't care if it's good or bad publicity. Hey, Eazy-E, but they burning up all our records. They got a stack of our albums and they're burning them up. He said they paid for them. So what? So Eazy-E, Eric Wright, understood marketing. He understood branding. Come from the streets, dope dealer from the streets, Kelly Park Crip, but he was brilliant. He's the one discovered Bone Thugs and Harmony. Okay? He's the one that put the money behind Dre. Dr. Dre, he saw the vision. Eazy saw the vision. Okay? Now that's saying a lot. Because I know Andre. I went to school with Andre. All the stuff I'm telling you guys, I can't make this stuff up. You know what I'm saying? Andre went to Roosevelt. He lived on Mayo. I live on Burris, 1 block away. We both went to school together. He walked to my house every day. I can't make this stuff up. Compton is known for ingeniousness. It's not just known for what you think, just old gangsters and dope dealing and thugs. There's some brilliant guys out of Compton, and I call it that Compton magic. So I'm going to sprinkle a little Compton magic on this video right here, and I'm going to sprinkle a little Compton magic in what I'm telling you guys and my channel, so you guys can continue to tune in, like, and subscribe, and get more of this information. Because this ain't just for me. This information is for the world. This information is for you guys to benefit on. I'm already in position, putting myself in position, putting my team in position, and I've been doing this for a while. I'm putting this information out for you to capitalize on it, okay? So check this out. So, again, back to the ingeniousness from some of the guys from Compton. Look at Dr. Dre. He's going down to history as one of the most notable producers in the world, and he didn't make all of his money in that. I didn't know he produced songs for Guns N' Roses, and he's done all kind of different stuff, you know, but Dre made most of his money with the Apple earphones, okay? So there's ingeniousness coming out of the inner cities, not just Compton, Harlem, Brooklyn, you know, Watts, Detroit, you name it, some of the hardest neighborhoods in the world, in the United States. There's brilliant guys coming out of these neighborhoods. So I want to talk about this digital process that's going to go down. Joe Biden is going to shock the world. I don't know if he's going to do it in December. See, this is what I'm hearing. And I heard this from a very reliable source. You can Google this guy's name, Tiki Tiwari. Tiki Tiwari is a multi-millionaire, and he's in the loop of information of what goes on the highest level of finance. And from what he's telling me, Joe Biden may make this announcement December the 14th, 15th, that we're no longer going to use the dollar. So if you're keeping dollars in the bank, you could be in a bad position because they're not going to be worth nothing. And we already had it that way. Like I told you, we had about a 9% inflation rate last year. They're trying to get it. They saying it's 3%. Don't believe that, because they don't add food to the equation of the evaluation of inflation. How you don't add food? And what kind of equation are you coming up with where food is not used as an indicator of inflation? Listen to me, you guys. Let's pay attention to this. This is some real technology going on and some real deceptive intelligence. Because food is one of the only things, no matter what your religion, no matter what your race, no matter what your language, we all have that in common, is food. And I think that food, I know, is the most purchased product in the world every single day. How do you not add that as a measuring indicator of inflation? Interesting. It's not added. But I'm telling you, we're close to about 9%, 10% in inflation a year, which means in 5 years, if you got 2 jobs now, in 5 years, to keep the same lifestyle that you have going right now, you need 4 jobs. God damn. You got to double your income. Now, who's going to double their income in 5 years? I mean, that's not an easy task. Whatever you're making now, in 5 years, you will have to have doubled your income just to do the same stuff you're doing right now. That's what's going on with inflation. It's not being talked about. I'm talking about it. I'm showing you guys and putting a real measuring stick out there of what's happening and what must be done. Now, because we have today more base cash, meaning they printed more money than ever in the history of the world of this country. So that means that the value of this dollar is sinking fast. And they know it, and they know they can't sustain it. They know they can't hold it up. And everybody's so happy that Jerome Powell may not go up on interest rates this month, December, around the middle of December. It all makes sense. Just listen to what I'm saying. It all makes sense that the middle of this month, December something, it's expected that the Federal Reserve will make an announcement. And most of the economists and the people that I'm following and people I watch and the people I admire and listen to, who are very renowned, financial guys like Jim Rickards, who used to consult the CIA. I mean, if he consulted the CIA in economics, the guy's sharp. Jim Rickards, Mike Maloney, Lynette Zhang, these people, Peter, what's his name? Peter Schiff. These people are saying the Federal Reserve may not go up on interest rates. And everybody's so happy. Oh my God, happy. But what does that mean? Okay, why did they go up so many times over the last year? They went up, they went up, they went up, they went up, they went up. They kept adjusting up. Do you know why they did that? To compensate and to balance inflation. Because that's been a little dirty trick they've been doing for years to manipulate economies. When the dollar, they print dollars, and dollars go up, and the inflation of the dollar goes up, okay? And then they go up on interest rates, and it slows down spending, and it slows down the rate of inflation. Well, guess what? Inflation is so out of control now, that stuff ain't working. It's not working. And that's why they don't add in food to the measuring of inflation, so you don't get a real indication of what the inflation is. But we can see it because we go on to spend every day. You can see how you're getting less and less and less. And when you go to the restaurants now, I remember, maybe 2 years ago, I was going to restaurants, $6, $7, $7. I was cool. I can eat a nice meal for $7, $8. Now it's $15, $17, $15, $13. It's double than it was 2 years ago. I'm not the only one saying that. And so we are experiencing this. So when Jerome Powell decides not to go up on interest rates, guess what's going to happen to inflation? It's going through the roof. Now, it's good for people who got bank loans, mortgages, credit cards, car loans, stuff like that. Okay, that's good. He's not going up on interest rates. But for the average person in general who has US dollars that they're spending every day, which is all of us, and even if you're not spending US dollars, every economy in the world is anchored by the value of the US dollar. They base their value on our value. So when he doesn't go up on interest rates, inflation is going to go through the roof because they have more programs this year. Let me slow down. I get excited to share this information with people. But when they decide to do these stimulus packages this year, they got a bunch of stimulus packages they're going to be creating this year. They already created. There's going to be a lot of money going out to corporations. I'll be helping people get their corporations in position. That's what I do. I also have ways to help you get your corporation money. But when you get this money, you got to move with it fast. You got to do something quick. You got to get it out the US dollar and get it in something else, whether it's gold, silver, real estate, or crypto or whatever. Okay? But the dollar is supposed to be suspended soon, canceled. And they're going to this whole digital system. Now, I have digital courses. You definitely want to get my digital courses. They don't just talk about Bitcoin. They talk about the DeFi market. You can learn about metaverse. You can learn about NFTs. All of this, if you grab my link, once I finish this video, I'll drop a link at the bottom. And these courses are done by a guy named Noah DeFrentes, who's making multi-millions of dollars. He's one of the top traders in crypto. He'll also teach you how to trade crypto, whether it be spot trading or derivatives, meaning leveraging with a broker and all that. I have all that available for you. But let me say this. Right now, gold and silver is a $12 trillion industry. And JP Morgan has announced they're getting ready to tokenize all their gold and silver in contracts. So basically, it's going to be a digital currency. It'll be able to be purchased in digital currencies. It'll be divided in digital currencies. So you want to learn digital currencies because this is one of the biggest exchanges of wealth we've ever seen in our lifetime. Finna happen right now. And some of it is not by choice. They're forced to do this because all the fiat currencies in the world are crashing simultaneously and they don't know what to do. And every country is looking for a solution. That's why China and Russia are both going to digital currencies. Okay? I want you to be careful though of this. I want you to understand this is why it's so important for you to get courses and learn this, because a digital currency and a cryptocurrency is two different things. They look the same, they sound the same, but they're not the same. One is centralized and one is decentralized. The people want decentralization. Governments and banks want centralization because centralization represents control. Centralization represents monitoring. Centralization represents being able to regulate what you spend, how you spend, when you spend, and even stop you from spending. Or it also represents them actually confiscating and taking whatever they want to take from you without you saying nothing. We don't want that kind of system. That's a I can't say that word. I get so twisted with that. Totalitarianism. Totalitarianism. Authoritarianism, fascism, communism, socialism type of government. Governments love those type of governments. People, it doesn't work well for the people because it takes away your freedom to choose what you want to do, how you want to do it. So these governments now are moving more towards police states when it comes to money and transactions. And this is why it's so important to understand crypto, because those that understand the difference between centralization and decentralization, the opportunities are going to be immense. There's going to be a huge exchange of wealth. Okay? Now let me share this with you. U.S. Treasury's Department is a $22 trillion industry. Just the U.S. Treasuries. We're not talking bonds or nothing. Just the U.S. Treasuries is a $22 trillion. Now we just added $12 trillion 22 trillion, which is 34 trillion, which is larger than the entire debt that we have. We have a $33 trillion debt. Now, just those two industries alone cover that. And they're getting ready to tokenize all that. They're going to tokenize all of that. You have to learn tokenization. You have to learn how value can be distributed in tokens. Learn that. Then we got Goldman Sachs that's doing the 22 trillion U.S. treasuries. Okay, they're going to be doing that. And then we still have a patent filed with the New York Stock Exchange recently. There's a patent that was filed with the U.S. Stock Exchange to digitize all the Wall Street. Wow. So you guys need to learn this, because when they switch it over to that system, you're going to be stuck. You're not going to know how to move. You're not going to be in a position to make no money, because you're going to be forced into their system and their way of doing things, and you won't understand the freedom of decentralization. You won't be in a position to pick and choose what you want to do, pick your investments, and sit there and watch them blossom if you don't start learning now. And the information is there for you. You just got to move on it. Because if you just sit back and do nothing, you're going to be affected one way or the other. So you want a good effect and a positive effect on you. You want to be able to leverage, and you want to be able to make money on this stuff that's happening versus you sitting back and being negatively affected. So that's what it's about, you guys. They're going to change this probably really soon. If it's not this December, I'm talking about relatively very soon. They're forced to change it. Just like Nixon was forced to take money off of gold. He was forced to do that. Because once we had a war in Vietnam, Charles de Gaulle of France saw, oh my God, you guys been in war for like 8 years. And you have gold in your Fort Knox, and I guarantee you've been spending money for this war. I'm going to turn in all my U.S. currency right now for gold. Because at that time, they used to have on the notes, on the U.S. dollar, used to say, upon the return of this note, the bearer of this note receives equal amount in gold. It was called a gold certificate or a silver certificate. So he called him on it. He was like, hey, I got billions of dollars in U.S. dollars. Give me my gold. And once he did that, then it was a run on the bank. Other countries wanted theirs to exchange. And Nixon had to cut it off. That's what's happening now. They're forced to cut off the U.S. dollar because of inflation, because they print too much, and because the value of the dollar is depleting. So they want to hurry up and switch, which is going to make a whole lot of people lose their value. So now they don't have to worry about that. They can balance the books by basically burying a bunch of people and basically starting all over from scratch and wiping off the debt and just start all over with a whole new different system. And if you're not in position when this happens, you're going to lose. But if you're in position when this happens, you can make a lot of money on this, no matter who you are. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out, you guys. Digitization is coming, and they're digitizing value. In order to really understand how digitization of value works, you're going to have to take my courses and learn. I got a link underneath here where you guys can grab this. Again, this is EB from Compton, city where I'm from, dumb diddy dumb. You know what it is. Let me sprinkle that Compton magic on this video. And you guys, hey, start learning how to position yourself for one of the greatest exchanges of wealth ever in the history of the world. And it doesn't matter if you're black, it doesn't matter if you're white, it doesn't matter if you're Indian, it doesn't matter if you whoever you are. If you get the knowledge, you can benefit. If you get the knowledge, you can win. It's all about knowledge. It's all about positioning yourself. Position yourself. If you're in the right position, whether you got $200, $300, $500, it doesn't matter. You're gonna be in a position to win, because that shift of wealth is gonna happen. Remember this when I leave. Wealth is never destroyed. I just talked about trillions of dollars that's going to dissipate from where they're at. But they're not going to vanish. They're going to be transferred to another form of distribution. And those that understand that, and they already switch over to that form of distribution, you're going to win. So I see you guys in the next video. EB Crypto, Family Cash Machine. Follow the money. Deuces.